Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly excited to be your guide today as we unpack the ultimate strategic playbook for transforming small to mid-sized e-commerce businesses. We're going to be diving into 2026's absolute most powerful artificial intelligence tools. So if you're looking to scale, cut costs, and seriously compete in today's hyper-fast digital marketplace, well, you're exactly where you need to be. We're going to cover the whole shebang today, from the massive macro shifts happening in the industry all the way down to the exact granular tools you can actually implement right now. Here is a quick roadmap of what we're covering. First, the AI native commerce era. Second, fixing the original sin of retail. Third, tackling cart abandonment. Fourth, operations and fraud. Fifth, a practical 2026 AI tool stack. And finally, ethics and zero-party data. All right, part one. The AI native commerce era. Okay, let's dive right into this. For years, AI was just kind of a helpful little sidekick, maybe a basic chatbot or a simple analytics dashboard. But this idea of self-running commerce completely redefines what it means to run an online store today. We're officially entering the era of AI native commerce. We aren't relying on fragmented manual tools for design and marketing anymore. Instead, autonomous AI agents are basically acting as a coordinated virtual team. By crunching product data, market trends, and design patterns, these systems can actually build, launch, and operate a fully ready-to-sell online store in just minutes. It literally removes the technical roadblocks that have held small businesses back forever. So now, founders can focus purely on high-level strategy and brand growth, while the AI handles all the heavy lifting in the background. Moving right along to part two, fixing the original sin. Now, as mind-blowing as autonomous store building is, we really have to address a massive flaw that's been baked into online shopping for the last 25 years. I want you to really think about this for a second. Despite all the amazing convenience of buying from our phones or laptops, why do physical brick-and-mortar stores still absolutely crush online stores when it comes to the percentage of visitors who actually buy something? Well, researchers at Zovu have this fascinating concept. They call it the original sin of online retail. To put that into perspective, the gap is just wild. We're talking an average 2.5% conversion rate online versus a staggering 30% in-store. The original sin of e-commerce was basically just expecting the customer to do all the work. Think about it. If you walk into a physical camera shop, an expert asks you what you need, interprets your kind of vague answers, and hands you the perfect camera. But online, customers are hit with massive walls of text, forced to decipher technical terms like CMOS sensors and ISO parameters just to figure out if a camera takes good family photos. Generative AI is stepping in right now to atone for this original sin. It acts as the ultimate digital sales assistant to finally close that massive 27.5% gap. And a huge part of being a great sales assistant is just understanding how people actually shop. Over 29% of consumers say they struggle to find what they want online, specifically because they can't physically touch or see the products in their own space. But visual AI is stepping in to fix this. By using visual AI, brands can directly link a customer's visual inspiration right to instant product discovery. And this brilliantly illustrates what that looks like in action. AI-powered on-site visual search. Just imagine a high-intent shopper. They know exactly the style of yellow sneakers they want, but they have absolutely zero idea what keywords to type into a search bar to find them. With visual AI, they don't have to type a single word. They just snap or upload an image, and the AI analyzes the visual attributes to instantly serve up highly relevant, contextual recommendations. It makes finding products lightning fast and just incredibly intuitive. Let's jump into part three, stopping shopping cart abandonment. So we get to the middle of the customer journey and bam, we hit this massive wall. 70%. That is the staggering global shopping cart abandonment rate. Customers browse around, add a bunch of stuff to their cart, and then just disappear. It's a silent killer of profitability. You spend all this time and money getting them to your site and then nothing. But here's the good news. AI is perfectly suited to plug this specific revenue leak. Here's the three-step AI recovery sequence to fix it. Step one is predictive analytics. The AI actually analyzes subtle patterns, like if someone is hovering too long or showing prolonged inactivity on a page, to predict hesitation before the customer even tries to leave. Step two is real-time personalization. The very second that hesitation is detected, the AI triggers a targeted action, maybe offering free shipping or a dynamic retargeting ad on the spot. And step 3 is automated SMS campaigns. If they do actually abandon the cart, the AI can immediately fire off a highly personalized text message. And guys, with an open rate of nearly 98%, an AI-driven SMS offering a timely discount or a low stock warning is incredibly effective at dragging that customer right back to the checkout page.
Which brings us to part 4, back-end operations and fraud.
Now, generating sales and recovering carts is fantastic, for sure. But let's shift gears to the back end, because honestly, none of those recovered sales matter at all if you ultimately lose the money to sophisticated fraud. Stripe recently reported a number that is just hard to wrap your head around: $33.41 billion. That's the global card fraud loss reported in 2024 alone. Now, on the bright side, AI-driven models actually helped decrease global fraud losses by 1.2% that year. But clearly, $33 billion proves that fraud is still a massive, ongoing threat to your bottom line. But here's the really tricky part: the hidden trap. If you crank your fraud prevention settings up too high, you run headfirst into the false positive problem. That's when your system incorrectly declines a totally legitimate transaction. If your setup is too strict, you could literally end up blocking 10 times as many legitimate customers as fraudulent ones. The direct revenue loss is brutal, and let's be real, a rejected customer almost never comes back. Modern machine learning solves this by using post-authorization feedback. It feeds chargebacks and confirmed fraud reports right back into the model, so it actually learns context. It evaluates velocity, customer history, and purchase context to stop the bad guys without punishing your actual paying customers. All right, let's get tactical. Part 5, the 2026 AI Tools Stack. Before we name drop specific tools, let's talk about the return on investment here. For every single dollar invested in AI customer service agents, businesses are seeing a $3.50 return. Plus, companies using these AI agents are reporting a 40 to 60% reduction in support costs, while simultaneously boosting conversion rates by up to 20%. Why? Because customers are getting their questions answered instantly, even at 2 in the morning. So, what does this practical tool stack actually look like for you? Well, here is a quick breakdown showing that you absolutely do not need a $500 a month enterprise budget to compete with the giants in 2026. For customer service, tools like Tidio integrate seamlessly into WooCommerce to handle pre-sales and order tracking 24/7. For content generation, Jasper can write hundreds of SEO-optimized product descriptions across any platform in minutes. For visuals, iGen Ultra has an incredible free tier that generates literal studio-quality product photos without needing a studio budget. And hey, if you're on Shopify, Shopify Magic is built right in for free, generating descriptions and even predicting your inventory. The tools are out there, they are highly accessible, and they're ready to scale your operations today. And finally, part 6, ethics and zero-party data. We've talked a lot about how powerful AI is for efficiency and revenue. But all of that power is completely useless if you violate regulations like GDPR or CCPA and lose your customers' trust. Which brings us to this fascinating, kind of counterintuitive twist. You'd think the rise of AI would mean a total reliance on cold-scraped algorithms, right? But actually, strategic success in 2026 requires a much more human-centric approach to data. Enter zero-party data. This is information that customers proactively and explicitly volunteer to you, maybe through a style quiz or a profile update, in exchange for a better shopping experience. Because they are explicitly opting in, it's literally the highest quality data you can get, and it completely aligns with modern privacy compliance. Now, what's really interesting here is the strategic challenge of algorithmic bias. Even if you have good data, if your AI is only recommending budget items to certain demographics based on flawed historical data, you are creating a biased loop that ultimately caps your own sales potential. This is exactly why explainable AI frameworks are absolutely essential now. We have to build in transparency so that when an AI makes a product recommendation or denies a transaction, there is operational accountability. You need a clear understanding of why that specific decision was made. Which leads us to a really provocative question to wrap up today's explainer. Think about it. In a landscape where literally anyone can use AI agents to spin up a fully optimized, beautifully designed storefront in minutes, the technology itself just becomes a commodity. So as AI completely automates the mechanics of e-commerce, will explicit human trust, transparent data practices, and real ethical connection become your only true competitive advantage? It's a massive question every single brand has to answer as they build their 2026 strategy. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating data-driven shift in e-commerce. Go evaluate your own strategies, and I'll catch you next time.